What is up, guys? It's Dylan from Redneck Tuners. I know it's been a while, but I'm back with another video. I'm trying not to do so much talking today because I got a lot of stuff to do. We got a lot of ground to cover. But yeah, this is going to be a cool video, so let's get into what I got. So I haven't been working on the car very much lately because I had some other personal stuff going on, but I got a bunch of parts kind of acquired that over a couple months that I'm ready to put on the car. For starters, we got all new belts because mine squeak like crazy. Hopefully these will be easy, but they're going to play into what else we're putting on the car, so it's all coming with like a system. I have a fuel pressure regulator. I've been needing this one for a while because the car's been running a little interesting. I feel like it has to do something with the fuel pressure. But yeah, I also have, it's in this bag here, but I have a rebuild kit for my power steering pump. I put a new return hose from the reservoir on there because I thought that was what was leaking, but it wasn't, so it just kept leaking. So I got this to rebuild the power steering pump. Hopefully, I've heard it's not too bad, but I'm hoping. I've never done it before, so we'll see. And I have two other boxes. They're kind of hard to pick up, but I bought myself an alternator and a starter because I needed a new starter for a long time. If you heard it, probably heard it in a couple of videos. It just clanks around. It's going. Doesn't have very much life left in it. So I got a new starter, and I got a new alternator because I feel like I'm having voltage issues, especially now that I can see what my voltage is. I can just see that seems a little low for what it should be while the car is running and while I'm driving. So yeah, I want to make sure everything's get the right voltage. Yeah, it's gonna be a tough install because I have to remove all of this stuff: the clutch fan, the shroud, all the intake stuff. The power steering pump is there. I'm gonna do my best to not have to remove the distributor. I don't think I do, but it's gonna be a fight. Anyways, the starter is under here. It's gonna be tough already as it is, and the alternator is under here. So it's under the throttle body. It's gonna be tough. I think my best shot is to take off all of this stuff here, and then work from that. That's the new truck. Hopefully you guys like it. That's my daily now. I got rid of the other car, but yeah, so I'm hoping that this will not exactly take me forever, but yeah, I'm gonna try to cut this up as best as I can. So like I said, I'm gonna start attacking it right here. I'm gonna take the intake off, the fan shroud, the clutch fan, all that stuff, so I can start attacking the belts, getting those off, and then I can take the pump off, I can take the alternator off, and hopefully with all this stuff cleared out, I can get a better shot at putting everything back on the right way. All right, made some decent progress. Got the top piece of the shroud off, the AC fan. I actually ended up dropping a bolt, lost it for a little while, but it's back, it's here, so that's good. Gotta get honestly, I might even be able to leave this bottom shroud off. Let's take the clutch fan off, get that off, and we'll just kind of attack it like we're taking the water pump off, even though we're not. We'll just take all this, get it out of the way, enough to where I can fit my hands in and work with the alternator and the power steering pump. All right, got the clutch fan off. I got the actual clutch piece off. The pulley for the water pump, which is a lot better than the first time we've taken this off. That's awesome. And the actual belt from the power steering to the water pump is completely off now, which is great. And I could tell it's over there, you can't see it, but I could tell that one needs to be replaced for sure. So next step, I think, is going to be to try to tackle the alternator, which is down there peeking through that pulley right there. Excuse the background noise, but I got the alternator top piece bracket off. There's a bolt. I believe it's a 12mm bolt on the top, and the bottom is a 14, this big long bolt here. Those are both broken loose. The belt is officially off, and now I'm going to be jumping on trying to get the actual alternator out. I have to pull the plug from the backside, and then we can try to feed this thing out of there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a little while. It took me a little bit, but we got this alternator out. It has seen better days by far. It looks like it's a Hitachi reman. Still, obviously the Nissan casing and everything, but it looks like a Hitachi reman. Like I said, it looks like it's seen better days. I've never replaced this, and the car sat for a minimum of, I think it was 12 to 13 years. I can't even remember at this point. So yeah, I mean, at this point it was working, but it seemed like almost barely. So might as well get a new one, new replacement, new parts. Can't go wrong with that. So yeah, glad to get this thing out of my hands. And the next one's gonna be a fight to put in. I know that for sure, but we're gonna get it in. So cool. Now, ladies and gentlemen, something I always do, or try to do at least, because I tend to lose a lot of things, and I don't know if everybody else is like this. I lose tools, I lose bolts, I lose whatever it is that I'm using. I can't find it. So best thing I found to do is get some Ziplocs and label it. That's my clutch fan water pump bolts. This is my alternator stuff and the fan shroud stuff. You can always reuse these, so I'm not really just like throwing them away after it. I usually mark them and then I use them again for other stuff. Right now it looks like I'm out, but yeah, so this helps me because honestly on this channel most of the time it's not like a one-day thing. This usually goes on a couple days, just because I always have problems with this car. I tend to have issues every single time I work on it. So best thing to do is label it, let yourself know what they are, so that way, hey, if I got to pick this up tomorrow and I don't want to sit here and play guessing game on which bolt it was or watch my previous clips and stuff like that, I might as well just have it right here, easy to go. So yeah, it's something I recommend. Quick little tip. All right, so we got the alternator out. I decided to try to take a break from that side, even though I could probably put it back in right now. Kind of have a system I'm doing things. I'm going to take so the alternator's already out. I'm going to put the new one back in. Then I'm going to well, actually, excuse me, I'll do the starter next, put the new one in for that. Then I'm going to throw the alternator in and those belts as well. And then I'm going to pull the power steering pump because it's going to be a mess. And then I'm going to pull the AC pump, belt. Then I'll rebuild the power steering pump, put that back in, and then throw all the belts back on, throw everything back in the car. It's a long process. Might not be done today. I don't think it will. It's a lot. But we're going to get going on the starter. I already kind of started messing with it. So for anybody doing this at home, there are two things connected to the starter. It is this cable here. It's just a little, basically a harness clip that just push this piece down, pulls out. And there's also a ground. Actually, excuse me, I think this is the power. But anyways, it is on a 14mm nut. You can see it right there. That just comes right out. But the problem I was having is, all right, the easiest way to explain this is there are 2 bolt holes on this side and 2 bolt holes on this side. Well, in these cars, which I didn't know, and I don't know why it doesn't really, maybe this is just a universal piece. But anyways, you only use 1 bolt on this side and 1 on this side. There aren't 3, so maybe if you think yours is stripped off or whatever, it's not. So basically, they're super long bolts. This will go through the transmission, kind of like the bell housing almost. Or what it seems to look like is a bell housing. And then there's going to be one on this side. It's going to be the harder one to reach. You're going to need a probably just an open-ended wrench on that. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this starter came out, but it has seen way better days. If you notice, it's very hard to see on camera, but the edge of the teeth is rounded. I'm hoping, I did get a new flywheel recently. I'm hoping that this is the problem, because it sounds like it's spinning. It's a very loud kind of like noise. I'm hoping that this is just bad, and the new one will be, they look a lot sharper, these teeth. But anyways, what I was saying was there's only 1 bolt on this side and 1 bolt on that side, and I believe it is this bottom. Yeah, it's this bottom thread when you put it in, so remember that. But yeah, man, I'm hoping this next one sounds really good, because this one has been giving me so many problems. It's taking a couple screwdriver beatings, small hammer beatings, because I thought it was just like a typical starter issue where you smack it and it'll lock better, but it hasn't. So new starter it is. We're going to throw that in, and yeah, super excited to get rid of this thing. Ladies and gentlemen, the new starter is in. It was a little bit of a fight, but nothing you can't handle, honestly. There's a little bit of maneuvering. Way easier if you have the car up on jack stands. Make sure you use jack stands or ramps, or if you have a lift, or if you have, you know, somewhere where you can drive over like an edge of a curb or something. I would definitely recommend that, because it is way easier to attack from the bottom than it is to the top. Taking it out, not too bad. Finagling it in there, not too bad. And threading the bolts in afterward is the worst part if you do not have it up at least where you can get under the car. I didn't. It's possible. It's 100% possible, but it just, you know, cut me up, all sorts of stuff. But it is done. I'm so excited to be done with that. For now, I'm going to take a break because that kind of kicked my butt a little bit. Sorry, my hair is all messy and whatnot, but I'm gonna head back inside. I'm gonna take a break, put all this stuff away, and then either attack this later on today, or I'm gonna come back tomorrow. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back with day 2 of this install. I got a decent amount done the first day. I don't know that I'll finish it today, but I'll definitely give it a go. We're gonna jump onto the power steering stuff right now. I think that's gonna be the hardest. Hopefully it's not too hard, but I think it's probably gonna be the hardest thing we're gonna do. So I gotta take all that pump off, and I'll show you guys what my kind of method is gonna be. So the power steering pump is this right here. Basically, there are 2 main hoses connected to it. One is the feed line up to the reservoir, and one is the feed line to the rack. I do have the ISR metal braided line all the way to the rack, so it's going to look a little bit different if you are completely stock. It'll be a metal one that kind of swings down this way and then tucks around under. But yeah, there are 2 main bolts here that you have to get out. Excuse me. This one is kind of like a banjo bolt style, and this one's just like a hose clamp. You remove those are all going to be full of power steering. And I believe there's 2 main bolts. The easiest way to do this, in my opinion, is you can try to crank the engine over, because there's a bolt right here that you have to try to get out, and you have to use these slots. So you can try to crank the engine over and get lucky, or you can be like me, and if you're going to take the pulley off anyways, just take the belt off, and then you can spin it to where you got to go. And yeah, so this is going to make a mess. So what I think I'm going to do is, I did this last time when I replaced that hose. Basically open the reservoir, and I'm going to use a kind of like a syringe, pull all the fluid out of the reservoir, and then I'm going to pull it from the hose down there, put some cardboard under and everything, try not to make a mess. It's going to spill everywhere, but I'm going to try to minimize that by emptying the reservoir first, so I don't have all this freestanding fluid dumping on the ground. So yeah, we're going to do that. I'm going to empty this thing out, and then we'll start attacking this. All right, so I emptied the reservoir, closed it back up. Hopefully it'll hold some sort of vacuum seal to help me out a little bit, but I doubt it. I threw cardboard under, and in true redneck fashion, I'm going to use this to try to catch some of it from the hose. We're using the red Solo cup. I should have put my name on it, but I didn't. So yeah, I'm going to open this thing up. I'm going to start with the reservoir hose, clear that out, and then we can work toward the top hose. But yeah, let's see if I can do this. I'm going to try to film a little bit after, because it's just me right now, but I'll let you know how it goes. All right, so I got both of the hoses removed right there and there. This one's resting up there. Didn't spill too much, but the bottom one obviously spilled it because that's where gravity's at. But yeah, that should be it as far as those go. Now I can take it off. I believe it's going to be this bolt here, which also I believe is the tensioner, and the bolt that I told you about on the pulley right here. And essentially this thing should just come straight out. So now that the pump's out, you can see this a little better. This bracket could come with it if you'd like to. You just take these bolts out here, probably the easier way. But the tensioner is based on this swivel here. This will sit on this side like this. Oops, excuse me. It'll sit on that side, and that basically determines how far away the pump is when you swivel it like this. And that comes out with another 12mm bolt on the actual pump. So yeah, officially out. So now we can take a better look at it. I got the pump all out, everything's here. It's filthy, as you can see, because all of the seals are bad on this. I watched the power steering kind of come out of this back plate here, the fluid. When I would enter full lock or even close to full lock, the fluid would just seep out of this back ring here. And I got a new gasket for that. I have a full kit that I'm going to do this with. I probably won't film any of this because there are better videos, and there's a guy that does the entire walkthrough. I will put his link in the description because it's going to help me for sure. So basically I'm going to just try to attack this myself while watching his video, and I know that I can probably do an okay job of explaining it, but I'd rather you get the full walkthrough and not in snippets, so that way you don't miss anything, and neither do I. So I'm going to try to tackle this thing, and when I'm done I'll show you guys the finished product, but I'm hoping to have this thing cleaned up a lot better and sealed up, so that way it doesn't have any more leaks. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so after, I'd say, a good hour and a half a bottle of degreaser, I cleaned this up as much as I could, completely taken apart, put new seals on and everything. It is so intricate. I honestly just hope it works when I put it back in. But yeah, this thing's kind of cool to understand, but it's just so many little pieces.
The gaskets fit weird. So hopefully this works. I don't want to have to take this apart again. But yeah, so this is done hopefully for a long time. I hope. We'll see when it gets in there. But yeah, so I'm going to try to put this thing back in the car now. All right, third day of the install. Off camera, I put the new pump back on. Or not the new pump, the rebuilt pump back on. All the lines are all hooked up. I left the bracketry loose so this can slide a little bit. So when I put the belt on, I have enough tension. And yeah, the next step for me is going to be to replace the AC belt. And I believe there's a bolt under this pulley here that allows this to lose, you know, get a little bit less tension. I can pull the belt off, and that way I can start throwing the new belt on for this. Then the alternator can go back on, and then everything can slowly start to go back together. So I'm gonna jump into that, see if I can get me a bolt loose here and get the new belt on. All right, so I got the new belt on already. Basically, there's one bolt under this pulley, and then you loosen this actual pulley bolt, and this thing will just kind of slide up and down, gives you play. And you slide the new belt on, push it down, get your tension right, and then tighten it back up. So yeah, that means we get to start attacking the alternator, which is, I think, going to be a pretty tough battle, but hopefully not. So let's get into that. All right, got my alternator bolts in the bag. I got my alternator. I believe it's going to sit something like this. We got to kind of finagle it in down there. So let me try to get one bolt seated in there, and then I'll show you what I got so far. All right, it took some finesse, but I got the bottom bolt, which is basically like a swivel kind of. I got that seated. So I also have the new belt here. So basically that's going to go in the second ring of the crank pulley, and it's going to fit around there. So best to kind of line it up, and that way you can set your tension at the exact same time. So that way you're not trying to fight this later. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got the belt on, all tensioned properly. I tightened all my bolts back up, and I plugged it up. As you can see, all those are back into the alternator. Everything's good to go there. So that leaves us with only one more belt here, and that is the power steering belt. And that goes with the clutch and the fan. So that means we're gonna try to start putting everything back together here, and hopefully we can get this tension all lined up here and good, and then maybe we can get it start today. Let's hope. All right, so if anybody would like to know the easiest way to get this fully tensioned, throw the pulley back on if you have the clutch fan still, with the clutch fan, and or with the clutch at least, and then tighten everything up here. And then basically what you're going to want to do here is loosen this top bolt for the pulley here, loosen the bottom bolt for the pulley here, not all the way, just a tad, and then use this here as your tensioner. So if you need to get tighter, tighten the screw or tighten the bolt down, and it'll pull the pump further away, and that tightens up your belt here. And then same thing goes for the alternator and the actual AC. So they all have very similar brackets and how they work. So there's going to be a bolt like that. It's going to be your tension bolt, and you basically move it to where you want it from there. So yeah, I hope this helps everybody. I'm going to throw this thing back together and we'll see how it goes. All right, so I got everything wrapped up. Everything seems to be buckled up here and checked. I'm going to do one more walkthrough with it, and then I'm going to get the hose, connect the ground, make sure we got nothing going on. Hopefully we don't need the hose, but I always like to have it just in case, especially with all the electronics and stuff we're doing. And then if I see everything's good, nothing's happening, I need to top off some fluid, and then I need to I need to run to the store, get some fluid, and then we can try to start it. All right, so the ground is on, the headlights came down. Now it looks like we're all good on everything. Everything seems to be buttoned up. I need to get more fluid from AutoZone really fast. And they recommend for power steering that you run on the Nissans, you run ATF. I believe it's Dextron 3 or Dextron 4. I'll make sure. But yeah, because apparently the seals that Nissan comes with, or whatever, all the pumps that comes with, they do not agree with regular power steering fluid. So ATF it is. And then yeah, once we get that, we're gonna give this thing a start. Hopefully it starts and no problems. Fingers crossed. All right, let's see. Oh man, let's go check everything out. Okay, the pump's a little noisy. I'm hoping that's just because it's a little dry. Hopefully it dies down. Let's let this thing warm up. Let's see how it acts. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited. I'm filthy. Didn't even realize how filthy I am. This thing started right up.
I'm looking at my voltmeter right now. It is reading 14.3. It was never reading that ever. That's how I knew my alternator was starting to go bad. We're getting good voltage. The power steering starting to work, and it's actually working really well. So far I haven't seen any leaks, which is awesome. We'll find out for sure when we take it on a drive, when we actually get it into full lock and things like that. But guys, I'm so excited. This was one of the probably the most labor intensive projects I've done on this car, because I did so many things at once. I'm just letting it warm up here so I can see how it acts. But guys, I'm so happy. This car's been down for a little bit just because I started to take it apart. And yeah, I really just hope that hope everything goes well. We still have to take it for a test drive, but as of right now, that was awesome. Plus the starter sounds pretty cool. I've never really, my starters have sounded like crap since I got the car, so that sounds pretty cool. Ladies and gentlemen, I have not driven this car in a while, so I'm excited. We're up to temp here. I'm going to jump in this thing. We're going to see how it acts. I'm really excited to take this thing for a drive, so let's get on the road. After a drive around, the power steering feels so smooth. I'm really excited about that. So far, I don't see any sort of leaks in there. Right, that seam right there where the gasket is where you just pour out, especially under full lock. And I just tested, can't see anything like that. So I don't want to say it's good to go yet because I don't know for sure. But this is much better than it was, definitely. So, and the car runs great. And just in case you didn't hear it, I want you to hear this new starter. So let's hear it. That's crazy. Sounds like a new car, to be honest with you. It's kind of cool, actually. It's like a spaceship now. And I can tell the alternator is working because my door's open here and it has the automatic seatbelt. But when I used to close it, it would dip the idle so hard that the car would actually jump down and almost die every single time. And it doesn't do that. It dips a little bit now, which is good. It's normal because there's a switch engaging it. But yeah, no, I think that's so much better than it was. Ladies and gentlemen, I know this has been a long video of just a bunch of different things going on, and I appreciate you for sticking around. But this has been one of my, I needed this victory right here because I've had a couple other issues going on. I haven't been able to work on the car because of life's been hitting me kind of crazy. So just to get this victory right here, get the car running again, get it running smooth, fixing a lot of the issues that I was having, that right there, it means the world to me. I'm so excited I get to drive this car again. I'm so excited I get to give it another, hopefully if everything goes smooth, we're gonna have an awesome summer this summer. We're gonna be able to go out to a bunch of meets, go cruising. I want to take this to the beach. So yeah, I'm beyond excited about it. I want to thank you guys for sticking around. Like I said, I know it's a really long video, but this is awesome. This is a really good step in the right direction. So I can't wait to see what comes next. And I hope you guys are excited too. So that'll do it for this video. I appreciate you guys sticking around. Please leave a like, a comment, say something about this video, something you like or maybe you didn't like. And don't forget to subscribe because that helps me out a bunch. It actually motivates me to do a lot more videos and a lot more things to this car. So thank you guys again, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.